on these 2 quick drafting tips for the 6-panel skirt. So I got my pattern here, and I'm going to show you how to do 2 different pockets. So it's more utilitarian than pure style, but I'm going to have a look at some other ideas as well. But I thought pockets are a really good place to start because we all love a pocket. And the first one I'm going to show you is more of an invisible pocket, but what I love about it, that it's really heavy duty. You can see it's a normal side pocket, and it is top stitched, so it's not as smart, it's more utilitarian. But what I love about it, it's mounted into my 2 side seams. I'm going to flip it over in a second to show you properly. So it's really strong, because I hate a side pocket which flaps around and drags down your side seam. So by mounting it into my 2 6-panel skirt seams, it suddenly becomes really strong. And I'm going to show you, actually I'm going to show you the inside first, because it's a bit of a cheat pocket. Because on the front it's only got facing, and then on the back it's got a facing and a pocket bag, but it hasn't got a pocket bag at the front, so it saves fabric and it saves time. I'm going to show you the inside quickly. It's really badly made, so you have to excuse my... Well, it's not badly made, it's just I was in a hurry, so I didn't overlock it or bind it or anything. So yes, it's probably badly made. But you can see from the inside it's stitched into my 6-panel skirt, and then it's got the facing and the pocket itself, and that's enough of a really messy make. I'm going to show you how to make your own. So the first thing you need to do is just draw on your pocket, and it's about finding a position which suits you. And I'm doing mine slightly angled at the top, and at the bottom I'm going to do it straight. And I'm going to do 10 centimeters either side. And pocket size and height is really up to you. So I would just either check a garment you already have for comfort, or think where would you put your hat roughly. With me it's roughly where my hip bone is, that's where I like to have a pocket, and it needs to be big enough to put your whole hand in. And I'm gonna now draw in the entry. So again, the pocket entry has to be big enough to fit in your hand, but not too big. And this pocket is big enough to hold your iPhone or your keys. So that's what you sort of need nowadays. And then all I'm gonna do is draw on my facing, and I'm making mine 5 centimeters wide, which is quite a nice one. And then what you can do, what I do is I put in notches. There's a notch here, there's a notch there, and on the other side I've got 3 notches, because I've got a bottom notch, entry notch, and top notch. And it just tells me where I have to put it together, I have to put it in. And then all you have to do is just trace out the bag and the facing. And this is the pocket if any sort of day wear where I don't mind top stitching, that's the pocket I do every single time. Because you can actually, if you have a pocket like that, you can go out without a handbag or purse or whatever, because they're big and sturdy enough to chuck everything in. And you can make it even bigger. But because it's mounted into 2 seams and it's stitched to the fabric itself, it just suddenly becomes really strong rather than floppy. There's nothing worse than having a dress with pockets. When you walk around, it drags all your lines, your style lines, and also flops around your thighs. It drives me mad. So this is my pocket bag. and you only cut one pair because you're only putting it one side. But when there's a facing, you're gonna cut, you need to cut two per pocket. So again, I'm just tracing it through, and then just make sure you copy your notch so you know how far you have to stitch it open. Pocket facing, and you cut two pairs out of self. Well, of course this can be cut out of lining. I'm quickly gonna chop it up so I can show you how to put it together. So, quickly transfer that notch. So, what you do is when you stitch it together, you first of all create your facing at the front. So, if that's your left side, you stitch it together and you get your facing, and then you do the same on your corresponding piece. And what I then actually do is I just fold this facing over, and then I just top stitch it. So that mounts that facing on this one. On that one, of course, you attach the pocket bag, and then once you've done that, you have to decide whether you overlock the top and the bottom or bind or whatever, and then all you do is you top stitch it to your piece again, and then you stitch it into the next hem, and that's your really practical daywear pocket done. The next one I'm going to show you is slightly more fun. It's the one I did for myself, and it's a really oversized pocket. So I've done it with a contrast lining and piping in there, and I've done it quite nice and deep again, but again it's up to you whatever shape you want to do it, how much excess. So I added a lot of excess, but of course you can add less or even more, and you could also, for example, instead of it being loose, you could have a little pleat, which is really nice. Or you could actually gather the whole thing with elastic, which should be great fun. But again, it's really easy to draft, and I'm going to show you how. So the first thing is you put some extra paper. You just draw your pocket on. So I'm going to go again at the bottom. It's parallel because that's my pocket bag. So you won't see that. And then the top you can do whatever. You could do it angle, you can do it straight, you could do it curved, you know, other way, scallops. The world is your pocket, as they say, or your oyster. So, but when you just draw in whatever shape you want. And these are also your notches again, so you know where to fit it. So now we've done that, I'm just gonna draw on the facing again. And again, you can make it as wide as you want to. I tend to make mine 5 centimeters, that's a nice length, or width even. Next thing I'm gonna do is just quickly trace around the back piece, which is gonna be, show you quickly, which is gonna be basically where you mount it on. So it's the top and the back of your pocket. And I found that the other pocket, the utilitarian pocket, I'm sometimes quite lazy. If I use a thick fabric, I don't do any facing, but then I'm not always the best. I love pattern cutting, but I'm not always the best sewer. So you should always interface everything to his pockets. So yes, so I'm just tracing the top half down to the bottom of my pocket, and I'm gonna mark the notches so I know how to do it. And that is the, and then of course you add seam allowance as well, I'm not being a bit lazy. So that's the back. You mount everything on and you cut one pair. So that's step number 2. Step number 3, you should have another one of those because I'm gonna cut it up. So if you haven't traced it out beforehand, trace it, because this is now where we're gonna create our volume. Sorry, I just got distracted. I was doing it right just now. And what you just need to do is draw on some cutting lines. And to be truthful, when I do it for myself, I actually just move it. But I'm going to show you quickly how to slash and spread it. Because it's easy to see. So what you need to do is get another piece of paper, and then you just open it and glue it on top. And as I said, you can add however much you want to, and you can always make it elasticated or pleated. And then you just put it down. So you can see, you can add however much you want to get a look. I think I added, I didn't add that much. I think I added about 2 to 3 centimeters per slash, which makes it 5 centimeters. And then the last step you need to do for this part is just to redraw this. And you can either redraw it straight, so I can literally just draw it across like that. In that case it'd be longer. Or you could, for example, curve it up slightly. So that way it's quite nice to have a slightly curved one. I think I did mine straight. And then you just need to redraw your facing again. And now the last thing you need to do so this is your pocket. You can see that's basically it. Yeah, it's working nice. The only thing we now need to do is draw in the bag. And can you see what's happened here? Because I've added my splash and spread. This is now much bigger than this. So what I need to do is to trace out these bits at the bottom but these bits at the top. And there's two ways of doing it. They're both about tracing. I'm going to show you one options, because you can either basically copy this and then open it up to fit that, or we can just trace over this but then slightly move it around. So I'm going to first of all trace the first bit. And then I'm going to mark it at the top and at the bottom. And I'm going to keep a needle in there so it doesn't move at the top. And then I'm just closing it. And then I'm tracing the next bit. And again, I'm marking it. And then again, I just close it. Ooh, and I've run out of paper. And my proper drafting videos get cut a bit, so you don't have to listen to me cutting and stuff. But this is just pure pattern cutting. So you can also see how long it actually takes me to draft the pocket, which isn't that long at all. So this is my pocket bag. And then all you do is you cut your facing off, which I should have done beforehand. I'm gonna cut it up here. And you can either cut it in half and add seam allowance, or if you're like me, you would then actually trace the facing. But I'm going to cut it out quickly so you can see how it all fits. This is basically the basic construction, and then of course you can make this facing, you make this lining, and even here you can make the bottom half down here lining again. It all depends what fabric you move in. You're going to use. If you're using a thinnish fabric, you can just use self. But if you're using a thick fabric, you chop this in half and make the bottom half lining. But then you can see this corresponds to here, but it moves out. And then this again corresponds to that. And you get this pocket. So these are my two little drafting tips for changing your 6-panel skirt. I hope you enjoyed them. And if you have other ones you want to see, just let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching.